You can't see me. I can see you in the mirror. No, you can't. This is my invisibility box. Okay, I give up.
Hey, ready for class? Yeah, I'm excited. Me too. See you there. See ya.
Samantha Matthews, or Sam as she's called by her few friends, had always felt like she didn't belong. Since she was little, she had been made fun of for her appearance. The bullying started when she was just a kid at the park. Other children would call her ugly and laugh at the way she looked. Sam's self-esteem took a huge hit that day, and it never really recovered. Over time, she became more and more reclusive, avoiding any situation where she might be judged. By the time she reached high school, the bullying didn't stop, but it changed. Instead of kids laughing at her face, they would talk behind her back, making cruel jokes. It felt like everywhere she went, she was reminded of how different she was. Sam's solution was to wear a cardboard box over her face to school. The box was her way of hiding from the world, a way to avoid the judgment she was sure she'd face if she didn't cover up. At first, her classmates thought it was just a weird thing she did, but as the years passed, they became used to it. Sam didn't care much about what others thought anymore. She wanted to disappear and let the world move on without noticing her. Every day, she would hide behind the cardboard, feeling safe and invisible. Her only comfort was the box, and the thought of taking it off terrified her. But deep down, Sam knew something had to change. She couldn't hide forever, but she had no idea how she was going to face the world without the one thing that made her feel safe. At school, most of Sam's classmates didn't know how to react to her strange way of dressing. Some of them laughed behind her back, others ignored her, and a few tried to be kind. But no one truly understood her. They just saw the cardboard box as another odd thing about Sam and went on with their lives. But there was one person who noticed her more than others, Ms. Johnson, Sam's homeroom teacher. Ms. Johnson had always been a kind teacher, and she saw beyond the box. She could tell that Sam wasn't just quirky or eccentric, she was hiding something. Every day, Sam would sit quietly in the back of the class, her face hidden behind the box. Ms. Johnson had seen other students deal with bullying, but Sam's case seemed different. She wasn't just avoiding attention, she was withdrawing from the world completely. One day after class, Ms. Johnson decided to talk to Sam. She asked her if she was okay, if there was anything she could do to help. Sam, feeling uncomfortable, quickly shut down. She wasn't ready to talk about it. She didn't want to explain why she wore the box or what had happened to her over the years. To Sam, it felt safer to remain in silence than to open up about the pain she had been carrying for so long. Despite Ms. Johnson's efforts to help, Sam pushed her away. She didn't feel ready to face the world, and she certainly didn't feel ready to talk about her past. It seemed easier to just keep hiding, to keep wearing the box and pretend everything was fine. One day, something unexpected happened. A new student named Ryan walked into Sam's class. He wasn't like the others. He was confident, but not in an arrogant way. He had a warmth about him that drew people in, and for some reason, Sam noticed him right away. Ryan was the kind of person who would say hello to everyone, even to Sam, who was always hiding behind her box. At first, Sam just ignored him. She wasn't used to anyone acknowledging her, especially not in such a friendly way. But Ryan didn't seem to mind that Sam wasn't responding. He kept greeting her every day, his smile genuine, his kindness unwavering. Sam couldn't help but wonder why he was so different. Most people just let her be, or avoided her altogether. But Ryan? He was different. He didn't treat her like an outcast or a freak. He simply treated her like anyone else, and that made Sam feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. One day, during lunch, Ryan sat next to her. He didn't ask her to remove the box. He didn't try to force conversation. Instead, he just sat with her in silence, eating his lunch. Sam was surprised, but something about it felt comforting. Ryan didn't push her, didn't question her. He was simply there, and that small gesture meant more to Sam than she could explain. Over time, the two began to talk more. Ryan started asking Sam about her day, about her interests, and for the first time in years, Sam felt like she could actually be herself without fear of judgment. As their friendship grew, Ryan started to notice that Sam wasn't like the other students. She was always distant, always hiding behind her cardboard box. One day after class, Ryan asked her gently, "Why do you always wear that box, Sam?" For a moment, Sam froze. She hadn't expected him to ask, and the question brought up all the emotions she had been trying to avoid for years. She stared down at the floor, trying to find the words, but they were trapped inside her. Ryan waited, giving her the time she needed. He wasn't pressuring her, he just wanted to understand. Finally, Sam spoke. She told Ryan about the bullying that started when she was a child. She explained how, after an embarrassing incident at the park, kids had called her ugly and laughed at her. Sam felt worthless and different from the other kids, like she didn't belong. She revealed how the teasing continued throughout her life, shaping the way she saw herself. She didn't feel like she was worthy of being loved or accepted. Ryan listened quietly, not interrupting her. He could see the pain in Sam's eyes and felt his heart ache for her. After she finished, he took a deep breath and said, "You don't deserve to hide, Sam. You're beautiful just the way you are." It was the first time someone had told her that in years, and Sam felt something shift inside her. But still, she was scared. She wasn't sure if she could believe him. She had spent so many years hiding from the world. It was hard to imagine ever being able to face it without the cardboard box. Ryan didn't give up on Sam. He wanted to help her, but he knew it wasn't going to be easy. One afternoon, he came up with a plan. "What if we went to the school dance together? As friends," he suggested. Sam was shocked. The idea of going to a social event without her box felt terrifying. She had never thought she could do something like that. But Ryan reassured her. "You don't have to wear the box. You'll be fine, Sam. I'll be there with you." At first, Sam hesitated. The thought of facing the world without her box seemed impossible. But there was something about Ryan's confidence, something about how he made her feel like she wasn't alone, that made her reconsider. Maybe, just maybe, she could try it. The night of the dance arrived, and Sam was still unsure. She stood in front of her mirror, the cardboard box in her hands. She wanted to hide behind it, like she always had, but Ryan's words echoed in her mind. He believed in her. Could she believe in herself too? She decided to take a risk. She put the box down, took a deep breath, and went to the dance without it. Her heart pounded in her chest as she walked into the gym. Ryan was waiting for her, smiling brightly. Sam felt nervous, but there was also a small sense of pride. She was doing it. She was facing the world without the box. The dance started off better than Sam had expected. Ryan stuck by her side the entire time, making sure she felt comfortable and supported. For the first time in years, Sam wasn't hiding behind a mask. She was actually enjoying herself, smiling and laughing. But that feeling didn't last long. As they were dancing, Sam noticed a group of her old classmates across the room. The familiar faces made her heart sink. They hadn't forgotten about her. In fact, they were still laughing, whispering to each other, and pointing in her direction. Sam felt her stomach churn as she realized what they were doing, mocking her. Jennifer, the girl who had been the ringleader of the bullying years ago, walked up to Sam with a smirk. Well, look at this," she said loudly enough for others to hear. "The cardboard box girl is finally free. But don't get too comfortable, Sam. You're still ugly, no matter how much you try to hide it." Sam froze. The words hit her like a slap to the face. Her heart shattered, and all the progress she had made in the past few hours seemed to disappear in an instant. She wanted to disappear, to run away and hide like she always did. The fear, the shame, the loneliness flooded back in full force. Ryan immediately stepped in, standing between Sam and Jennifer, but the damage had already been done. Sam felt exposed, vulnerable, and betrayed. She thought, for just a moment, that maybe things could be different, but now she felt like she was back at square one. After the humiliation at the dance, Sam felt more broken than ever. She ran out of the gym, tears streaming down her face, and Ryan quickly followed her. He found her standing alone in the hallway, her shoulders shaking with sobs. "Sam, hey, look at me," Ryan said gently, approaching her. He placed his hand on her shoulder, but she flinched, not wanting anyone to see her like this. She had already been humiliated, and she didn't want Ryan to pity her. But Ryan wasn't pitying her. He was frustrated, not with Sam, but with the cruelty of the people who had hurt her. "I know they hurt you, but Sam, you are so much more than what they say. You're strong. You're beautiful. You don't need to hide." Sam wiped her tears and shook her head. "It's not true, Ryan. I'll never be good enough. I'm always going to be the weird girl who hides in a box." Ryan's expression softened. He stepped closer and held her hands. "No, Sam. You don't have to do this anymore. I know it's hard, but we're going to work through this together. You won't have to hide behind that box. I promise you, I won't let you hide anymore." Ryan's words were the first thing that made Sam feel like she had something to hold on to. He wasn't going to give up on her, and for the first time in a long while, she started to believe she could face the world. The following weeks were not easy for Sam. The hurt from the dance still stung, and she had moments where she wanted to put the box back on, to retreat into her safe, hidden world. But Ryan's promise kept echoing in her mind, pushing her to move forward. One day, Sam decided it was time to face her past. She knew she couldn't keep hiding from the people who had made her life so miserable. With Ryan by her side, she stood in front of her class, ready to confront them. "I've been hiding for years," Sam began, her voice shaking at first but growing stronger as she spoke. "I've hidden behind a cardboard box because I thought I wasn't good enough to show my face. I thought that if I stayed invisible, the hurt wouldn't matter." The class went quiet, and Sam felt her heart pounding in her chest. "But I've realized something. I'm not defined by what others say about me. I'm not defined by the cruelty I've endured. And I won't let anyone, especially you, define me anymore." Sam looked directly at Jennifer, the girl who had caused so much pain. "You don't get to make me feel small anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not hiding. And I'm not going to let anyone treat me like I'm less than them." The room was still, and for a long moment no one spoke. Jennifer, who had once been so confident in her cruelty, now looked uncomfortable. Sam's words had left an impact. For the first time, the students who had mocked her realized how wrong they had been. Instead of lashing out in anger, Sam's words were filled with strength, and her classmates couldn't help but feel ashamed. She had turned the tables. She wasn't just taking control of her life. She was showing them what real strength looked like. Sam's life slowly began to change after that day. She didn't need the cardboard box anymore. She didn't need to hide. It wasn't easy, but with every passing day, she felt more confident. She started sitting at the front of the class instead of hiding in the back, and she began talking to more people. It wasn't that the pain from her past disappeared. It was still there. But she was no longer letting it control her. Ryan was by her side every step of the way, supporting her when she felt unsure and celebrating every small victory. She started to speak up more in class, even answering questions without feeling like everyone was staring at her. Slowly, Sam found her voice, and it was a beautiful thing. She realized she had been holding on to the pain for so long that she forgot who she really was. As graduation approached, Sam felt a new sense of excitement and hope for her future. She applied to college, and for the first time, she wasn't afraid. She wasn't just applying to leave her past behind. She was applying to create a future where she could be herself. She wanted to help others who had suffered in silence the way she had, and she knew that this was only the beginning. The confidence that once seemed so out of reach was now within her grasp. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about embracing her imperfections and realizing they didn't define her. Sam's transformation wasn't just physical. It was emotional and mental. She was no longer the girl hiding behind a box. She was Sam Matthews, and she was ready to take on the world. The day of graduation arrived, and Sam walked into the ceremony with her head held high. The girl who once hid behind a cardboard box now stood proudly, a symbol of strength and resilience. Ryan stood beside her, beaming with pride. They had come so far together, and this day was a reflection of how much Sam had changed. As Sam received her diploma, she thought back to all the painful moments in her life, the bullying, the shame, the fear. But none of it had the power to control her anymore. She had broken free. And now, she was standing tall in front of everyone, showing them exactly what she was capable of. The students who had once laughed at her now saw her as a symbol of courage. They no longer mocked her or judged her. Instead, they respected her. Sam's story had changed them, and in return, they had changed her too. As she walked off the stage, Sam knew that her journey wasn't over. There would always be challenges, but she was no longer afraid of them. She had faced her demons, and she had won. The cardboard box was a thing of the past, and Sam Matthews was ready to take on the future. She looked over at Ryan, who was still by her side. "Thank you," she said softly. "For everything." Ryan smiled and replied, "You did all the hard work, Sam. You've always had this strength inside you. I just helped you see it." And as they walked out of the ceremony together, Sam knew that this was just the beginning. She had found her voice, and now nothing could silence her.